2, 1, and we're live. Hi, Charles. Thank you so much for making it to our Business Leaders webinar. We really appreciate you being here, and we're looking forward to learning from your expertise. So everyone, today we have Charles Dairo. He's the CEO of Beezop and CKDigital. I was just sharing with him that I used to work for a company where he actually was the one that created their digital presence online. So I'm a big fan of his work. So yeah, I'm really excited to dig in and learn some insights with you, especially because you've been in business for so long. So Charles is a seasoned expert in sales and marketing. He creates effective strategies that help businesses grow. And under his leadership, Beezop and CKDigital are flourished, setting really high standards in the tech industry. And Charles' passion just shines through. I think there was a point you had like 3 startups going at the same time, or so something. So his passion for the digital world really shines through, and we're looking to learn a lot from him today. So yeah, Charles, thank you so much for making the time.
Man, it's my pleasure, Tolani. Good to be here.
Great. So I'm going to just dig right in and just ask you, how was your journey to get here? Like, how did you become the Charles Dairo that everyone talks about?
It's a very long story. I'll try to keep it short. My mom has always been an entrepreneur, so I think that was a very good example for me growing up. And I loved computers, so it was natural for me to study computer science. We were the very first set in Redeemers University. In final year, there was a course called Website Design and Data Security, and that's when I learned website design, or I even figured out that there was something called website design. And I sort of fell in love with it. Like, I really enjoyed it. I noticed that I could go a whole day without eating as long as I was on my website, on my laptop, designing something or the other. So it kind of felt like I had found that thing that I was really passionate about. And so immediately after school, I was designing websites for friends, for family, for anyone that was interested. I mean, I think at the time I was charging maybe 20,000 naira or 30,000 naira for websites and branding and the likes. And then I got like a part-time, like an internship at a company that I think was the best website design company at the time. I worked there for about 3 months, then got a part-time job at a church, Fountain of Life Church. Worked there about 3 days a week while still trying to grow my side hustle. I learned something called search engine optimization. I was able to get a web page to show up on Google. So little by little, people started reaching out. They liked the quality of the work. And it got to a point where it just made sense to just focus on this full time. And that's pretty much how that entrepreneurial journey started.
Oh, that's amazing. So your mom's influence played a great part. And then you also just kind of found yourself in. I think it happens to most people, that, just are influenced by, an older person in their family that are entrepreneurs. And then this sort of it just kind of happens to you, or it's bound to happen to you anyway. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, so this topic today is how to drive consistent business growth. So we're going to be asking you a lot of questions around, business growth, business processes, which is sort of what Beezop does, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe tell us a little bit about Beezop, because I know what CKDigital does, which is like helping people develop websites to establish their digital presence, and also helping them develop optimized, like search engine optimized websites, which gives them a good place to be in terms of people find them easily online. So we know what CKDigital does. So what does Beezop do?
All right. So when a company wants to grow or when they want to scale, it's very important. It's very important for them to have something called standard operating procedures. People need to know how things are done so that people can quickly get in, maintain the same level of quality that the company is already known for. Without standard operating procedures, the quality will be inconsistent because people will come in, do things completely differently, and then customers start complaining and the reputation that the company was known for starts to suffer, right? So, but normally the way SOPs, standard operating procedures for short, the way they are done is like they're these bulky documents that they share with someone that you have to go and read and digest. And people don't like reading manuals, right? So
Mm.
most times they just gloss over it or they say yes, they understand. But when it's time to do the work, then it becomes clear that they didn't really do it. So they don't follow the processes. So we've been able to transform that into a very easy to digest and easy to follow format, such that businesses that are looking to grow or scale their operations can just invite their team members into their Beezop account, and we help them ensure that this process is being followed every single time. So if your team members are using Beezop, that quality level that you're expecting as you scale will be consistent. So that's what we do at Beezop.
Amazing, amazing. I think most businesses need that, because one of the biggest reasons why most businesses fail is business structure. And we
Yep.
always have people coming to us all the time saying, "Oh, they don't know what to do. La, 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 I don't know what's going on in my style. They're not listening to me." So yeah, I think it's incredibly useful what you do at Bizup. So my first question, or my next question rather, I've asked like a couple of questions, is what are the key business processes that can be optimized to drive consistent growth?
I mean, there are two that are very obvious, which is sales and marketing and then operations.
Yeah.
But there are also two that people don't put into consideration, which is customer service and human resources. So I'll just touch on each one, right?
Okay.
So sales and marketing, it makes sense. You want to scale your business, you want to grow your business. You need to ensure that there's a consistent way you are bringing in new. In fact, before even bringing them, there's a consistent way that people know that you exist. There's a consistent way that they connect with you. There's a consistent way for you to just take those people that were leads or just strangers and turn them into actual leads or prospects, right? That are like people that raise up their hands to say, yes, I'm interested in your service, right?
Yeah.
And then a consistent way of the moment they've done that, closing them to become customers. So from awareness to consideration to decision to the point where they now become customers, that process from sales and marketing, you need a consistent way to get that done. So that's one process that is very key. So it's like a combination of sales and marketing. And then when they now become customers, you still need a consistent way to deliver good service or deliver great products to them, irrespective of the number of customers you have, which is the problem a lot of people have when it comes to scaling operations, right? So in this service delivery process itself, you need a streamlined way of getting that done. Then customer service, because a lot of people focus on sales and then operations, but customer service is poor, right? So you, for instance, if you many businesses, and I don't even want to mention names, like if you go to their Twitter, for instance, especially the ones that are really big, you see complaints upon complaints,
Hmm.
right? That's because they've scaled the sales and marketing side of things. They are attracting as many customers as they can handle. The operations is probably faulty, so customer service then becomes a problem, right? So you
Hmm.
also need a way to ensure that you are not only delivering good service, but you have a way of engaging those customers if they have issues to ensure that they are happy. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones that will bring you more customers if done right. The final one is HR, right? That HR part, a lot of people ignore it, right? They don't have a consistent way to bring in new people into their team,
Hmm.
right? So there's no pipeline. If some of their key people should resign, right, or for some reason are no longer in the business, work just scatters, right? So that's also a process that needs to be optimized. Like you need a pipeline of how people you get more people to join your business, and then when they join, there's also need for how can you get them to be fully productive as quickly as possible,
Hmm.
right? There are some businesses where it would take you 3 months for you to fully understand how things work in the company, for you to now start delivering optimally. There are some that it might take 6 months, right? So sales and marketing, operations, customer service, human resources, those are some key areas that need to be optimized to drive the kind of growth that businesses want.
Hmm. Amazing. I'm sure my HR consultant will be very excited to hear you mention that part, because it's something that she always harps on, that I personally struggle with hiring. I just find interviews so awkward. Like, why am I asking this person all these questions. I already like their CV, like, but obviously our HR consultant came in and we developed our hiring process. So that's a very important part, because hiring right is what's really helping us grow as a company at Halisi Consults. And what you're
Mm.
saying is 100% correct, because sometimes I want to buy something from a brand online, or even like a large company, and I just search online their brand name and reviews, and I just see
Mm-hmm.
people saying all sorts of rude things to them online. I'm like, it honestly cannot be that bad, because their branding looks great, their marketing looks great, and
Yep.
their website is so perfect to use. But then, like you said, the operations is missing a huge chunk. So I think a lot of businesses really need to look at their business operations from this place, because a lot of entrepreneurs or founders, CEOs, focus their energy on sales and marketing and don't match
Mm.
up with operations.
Yep.
That clearly has to change. So
Definitely.
yeah. So in terms of sales strategies now, what do you think business owners should consider when adopting strategies for them to increase their sales? What would you say in your experience as a founder and in your experience, leading Beezop, working with businesses? What do you see is the right way to do that to boost sales?
So it's pretty tricky because it depends on what the business is selling, right? The problem that they are solving. But one thing that is consistent across board is value, right? Businesses need to figure out what value actually means. And it's funny because sometimes a lot of businesses feel like they know what they are into, but they don't really know, right? So um, you might be, let's say you're a website design company. Some people will just feel like, oh yeah, what I do is I design websites for companies, right? But I have come to understand that no, that's not the problem that the person has, right? The types of businesses that we work with, they want credibility, right? They want a website that their potential customers come to and like, yes, I can do business with these guys, right? They want a website that helps them help their customers develop or potential customers develop trust, right? Just without even speaking to anybody on the phone, they just feel like, yes, this seems like a company I can work with, right?
Mm-hmm.
From the kind of content, the type of images, the feel of the website. There are some sites you look at and it just feels luxurious, like it looks like it's a very solid company, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's our job to take even a company that does not have an office or a company that is like a one-man business. But the moment you are looking at their website, you feel like, wow, this could be a multinational because everything is done very well, right? So we've come to understand that for a lot of the businesses that we are working with, website is a means to automate sales. Like they want to make more money, they want to get more clients, right? They want to stand out in the industry. So we know what business we are in, right? So when we are talking with potential customers, we're not just saying, hey, okay, you want a website, oh, it will have this feature, it will have that feature. We're talking about, hey, we understand that you're a financial services business. In financial services industry, trust is everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
For high net worth individuals that are considering doing business with you, they are looking at your brand online to say, okay, does this look like a credible company? What have they done in the past, right? What are the antecedents that I can look at? So we understand that, right? And that's what we're communicating during sales. So for every business out there, you need to understand, what does value mean for my own customer?
Of
What does
course.
value mean, right? If it's a fashion designer, it might not necessarily be that you want to like the commodity is clothes, right? But the real value is maybe a sense of confidence, right? Maybe a sense of worth, right? People want to be viewed, even they want to be perceived bigger than they actually are, right? That might be the angle a particular luxury fashion brand is going to be coming through. Like they are helping you sell yourself in terms of like confidence and all of that. A business that is pitching themselves that way can command higher pricing than one that just says, hey, come and buy clothes. Right? So every business needs to understand the what value means to their customers. And it's something that you learn by speaking with these customers to really understand. So you can't scale your sales unless you've nailed it down to know this is the problem that we are solving. And then who are we solving it for? Can't sell to everybody,
Of
right?
course.
Who exactly is your ideal customer? We have a contact form on our website, and there are inquiries that I see that I immediately feel like we're not going to close this sale, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say much on that, but they're just signals, right? Maybe it's the job title of the person. Maybe it's the size of the company, right?
Mm.
Because there's a type of businesses that consistently value our own services. So stuff like that. So understand what value means to your customers, understand the actual customers that you are selling to. That's the foundation that is required to then scale your sales.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, I always say to clients that you need to know who your ideal client profile is, or what your ideal client profile is. And what you're saying, it comes from experience. It comes from speaking to clients over and over again. Both clients that have, used your services or paid for a product, and clients that, they are trying to use your service, but you're not, over time as a business owner, you figure out who's a fit and who's not a fit, and that makes up your ideal client profile. Now, it
Mhm.
happens to us as well, where someone comes in and from their email address, the way it's written, I will just say, "I love God for you." That's all my clients. I know, like I just know. Sometimes I just see it's like, okay, they booked a sales call. Okay, fine. Somebody else take it, but I don't need to be on that meeting because I know they are not my clients. But
Mhm.
you just have to honor people's wishes because our goal is obviously to help. But you just have to let them speak and see how we can help. But yeah, what you're saying is 100% right. Know who your client is and what value looks like to that person.
Mhm.
So I want to ask about how business owners can use technology to enhance their sales process and streamline operations. That's two things actually. I feel like
Yeah.
that's two separate things. So how
Yeah.
can business owners use technology to enhance their sales, and how does that then trickle down into you streamlining operations?
Okay, so from a sales standpoint, and I will always start with like marketing because it's marketing that leads to sales. But marketing does not necessarily even need to be like social media marketing. Of course, that's effective, right? Marketing
Yes.
just means how do people know that you exist? How do they know what you stand for? How do they know how you can help them, right?
Mhm.
So social media is definitely a tool for that. Your website is a tool for that. Like it's just how do people know what you do, how you work, how you can help them, right? So your website, your social media platforms. I mean, some people even use email marketing for that. If it is done right, it might work. I don't use that approach. But you can use technology for that. Obviously, you have the MailChimps, you have like even tools like Apollo that you can use to go and look for your ideal customer profile, right? So there
Yeah.
are tools like that from like marketing to sales. And then for retail businesses, your e-commerce website is definitely key. There's a level of selling you can do on Instagram. For instance, we have a lot of Instagram vendors that at some point they're just like, see, I need a website, right? Because of problems like, hey, multiple people are trying to order the same product at the same time. You've told both of them that yes, it's available. Then one person paid, the other person has also paid, and then you have to tell one of them that hey, sorry, this product is no longer available, and then the customer becomes really angry that why didn't you say it was available? Like stuff like that, inventory management and the like. So we have a lot of really big vendors that get to the point that okay, Instagram doesn't cut it for us anymore. Let's do move to Shopify or let's use WooCommerce and the likes, right? So that's also sales, right? How you're actually delivering your service. If you are like a service business, then it might be demo calls. It might be using tools like Calendly to automate your appointment booking and the likes. That those are like sales tools that really help you as you're trying to grow or streamline your sales process. When
Yeah.
it comes to operations, depending on what you're doing as well, right? So you can use some people use like project management solutions to just track all the things that they are doing. So people use workflow software. Beezop does that as well, where you can just streamline that this is our process, and every single time that thing is being done, it's helping you ensure that every single step is being followed every time, right? For that
Okay.
level of consistency. You probably need like communication tools like Slack. Some people even use WhatsApp for that, like Slack, Teams. Zoho has a solution. I mean, Zoho has a solution for everything.
Everything.
Yeah, so communication tools like that. Yeah, I think that's it. Like, it just depends on what you're doing, but there's almost a tool out there that can help you just scale that if it's something you're interested in.
Okay, so what are the tools aside the obvious Beezop? Yeah. So, or rather, does Beezop have like this tool suite? Let me put it that way. Are they all sort of like interconnected, like sales and marketing, operations, things like that? I just want to understand.
Yeah, so Beezop is mostly around processes and workflows, right? If you have a defined way of doing things and you
Yeah.
want to ensure that it's being done the right way and on time every time, Beezop is perfect for that.
Okay.
If it's like projects that are very different, then you can use your Asana, you can use your Basecamp, ClickUp, and the likes. Um, Zoho seems to have quite a lot of apps that you can even connect together, but they don't have the best reputation when it comes to user experience, right? So for people that user experience is important to, they would use other tools, right? But Zoho is also very, very affordable, right? So if if money is like, again, there are two types of customers. There are
Yeah.
cost customers and there are price focused customers. In fact, in Nigeria, there are even if you are a quality focused customer, sometimes Nigeria will make you a price focused customer, right? So
Honestly.
for those types of people, like, they're like, see, Zoho is the way to go. But even if you are using multiple tools, there's something like Zapier that allows you connect completely different tools together. So you can say, hey, when this happens on Paystack, do this in Beezop, or do this in Asana or in Basecamp or whatever, right? So
Yeah.
it allows you to connect multiple apps together. So there's always a way around it.
Of course. Of course. Thank you for that. So now speaking about marketing, because I know that you seem to refer to marketing a lot. Like no matter what we say, you take me back to marketing. I guess because that's like your foundation. Because you
Yeah.
still started from digital marketing. So yeah, what marketing efforts have you observed, or would you say have the biggest impact on driving business growth? And in your opinion, what channels do you think business owners should prioritize?
So again, it depends on the business, right?
Of course.
I'll just start with how we did it. So I'm an introverted person. I like right from time I sort of figured out that if I'm going to do business, I need to look for a marketing strategy that does not involve me knocking on doors or trying to pitch myself to people. So that's why naturally I just settled on search engine optimization, right? So because it would be nice for people to people that are ready to go online, they search for my service, they search for, oh, website design company in Nigeria or whatever, and they find my website. Before they talk to me, they've seen my projects, they've seen the quality of my work. They themselves reach out to say, hey, I'm interested in your service. So it just makes things a lot easier for me, right? I'm not trying to convince you as much, right?
Yeah.
So that worked for us, right? So in fact, like, probably apart from return clients or people that hear about CK Digital through word of mouth, SEO is still the biggest driver for sales at CK Digital, right? And we're already working on something similar for Beezop as well. It's just a lot more competitive because Beezop is a global problem, right?
Yeah.
And doing SEO on a global scale is a bit more challenging. But we found that SEO works, right? Because the people that are reaching out to you are those that are already convinced that they are ready for this solution, right? So
Yes.
SEO has worked out for us. Word of mouth has been awesome because there's nothing more effective than one person telling another person that, see, if you need this product or if you need this solution, these are the guys to do it for you, right? So whatever that your product or service is, which then boils down to that operations, like doing quality work that your clients can vouch for you, put their own reputations on the line to say, if you want this service or this product, go to this company, right? So those have been really, really key for us. And of course, content marketing, right? Content marketing in the sense that you are you're basically known, you are trusted as the authority when it comes to something, right? So people just know, maybe based on educative content that you're putting out there, people just trust you that, hey, when it comes to hiring, or um when it comes to this type of product, when it comes to fashion, or when it comes to food, this is the authority there, right? But the thing about these three examples that I've shared is they are sort of reactive, in the sense that you are still waiting for the customer to
Fine.
find you, right? So that's where you then have the other approaches that are a bit more like you are a bit more in control. So that's where you have ads, where you can control the number of people that you want to see your ad, right? As long as you're willing to invest in it, you can do like social media ads, you can do Google ads, and Google ads versus SEO. So SEO takes time. It takes time for Google to rank your website, and it might not even happen depending on how competitive the keywords are, right? So it takes time, but if you want to start getting that result very quickly, you can pay Google, and they'll gladly take your money and put your ad, right? So
I was
there's
going to ask about what SEO, like what does it mean to actually implement an SEO strategy that would work? Because a lot of times people just say, "Oh, you just need to write blog posts on your website, and just be writing blog posts, be posting it every week." I mean, I know that it used to work like in the very early days of, I mean, before the internet got overcrowded.
Mhm.
But now I'm not so sure about that. So could you just like walk us through, what SEO is now, what a sensible SEO strategy is?
Okay, so it starts with keyword research, right?
Yeah.
And keyword research basically means not not just what you do, but what your potential customers are likely going to search for, right?
Mm.
So the number one thing is, will SEO even work for your business, right? And SEO will only work if people know that they have this problem, and Google is one of the places they go to look for a solution,
Hmm.
right? So if it's very innovative and it requires a lot of education for people to understand that they have this problem, SEO might not work, because the way SEO works is people search first before they find you. And if they don't know they have a problem, they probably won't even search in the very first place, right? So,
Yeah.
um, but if you are providing a service that people search for, and there are tools that you can use to search, to figure out like the search volume for any keyword. So you can use like SEM Rush, right, as a keyword. There are lots of tools. If you just search for keyword research tools, you can just type in a keyword, see the number of people that are searching for it in different regions. So that
Mm-hmm.
number one thing is keyword research. So figuring out what your potential customers are searching for. Now, many times for one business, there might be 20, 30 different things that customers are searching for. But you have to pick the ones that make the most sense, the one that has the highest volume of search. I hope I'm not being too
No, no, no.
technical.
I mean, I'm following you because I do know about SEMrush and I've used it as a tool just to understand what our keywords are, or what the
Yeah.
ideal keywords for our target audience would be. So yes,
Uh-huh.
I understand. I'm following. You can
Okay.
carry on.
Great.
The
All
most
right.
important thing is the people that are watching this, are they also following? But I think you're
Exactly.
making it
Now,
very
I'll try to simplify it.
simple.
Once you've defined what those keywords are that your
Mm.
potential customers are looking for, your website needs to be optimized for those keywords. Right? Very important. Now, I will tell you that for CK Digital, with the amount of success that we've gone through SEO, it wasn't through articles. It was not through articles. In fact, the very first time we started ranking on the first page of Google, we only had one page. Our site was just a one page website, and we were ranking on the first page of Google for all the keywords that mattered, right?
Wow.
So the way to do that is to optimize your website, right? So you can say, hey, this is the keyword we want to be known for. There might be 20, 30 keywords, but this one keyword or three keywords that are related are the ones we want to be known for. So in our own case, it was website. In fact, it was web design Nigeria, right? Web design Nigeria. That was it. So even at some point, it kind of looked like the name of our company was Web Design Nigeria, because we optimized it so much that if you search for Web Design Nigeria, you saw CKDigital, right? Now, another thing we did was the content on the page. Now, some things are technical. There are things called like heading tags, like your H1, H2. You need to ensure that those keywords that you're optimizing that page for, you have them in your headings. Things like images. So some people just go into their CMS, stamp an image, and they just upload images to their website, but they don't optimize those images, right? Every single image you're putting on your site should be optimized, right? So if I'm adding a picture of, like in our own case, when you come to our site, we have portfolio, right? So we have different clients that we worked with. When I'm adding a screenshot of what we did for, let's say, Zep, there's something called alt tag. I'm writing image alt tag, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not just putting the image there and saving. No, I will go to the alt tag and write website design for Zecon Marine. So that keyword, website design, Google is like additional opportunity for me to tell Google what this website is about, right? So I can say even my logo, I can say CKDigital website design company logo, right? I'm just ensuring that that term, website design or web design,
every part of the website, like that actually goes, everything that goes into like making the website go live. It's not just about the articles, it's about the things you're naming, the pictures on the website, the things you're naming, your logo, just the words you're using as well. Amazing.
Absolutely. Then the third, there are two other important things, and articles are the ones I would say last, because those ones are very common, right? That you should write articles. But the one that's not as common is backlinks, right? And backlinks basically means links from other websites that are coming to your own website, right? So, for instance, a very simple example: if a newspaper writes an article about you, right, and they put a link to say, click here to visit the website, right? If you know what you are doing with SEO, that link that they are clicking on, right, you will tell them that it should be, for instance, if it's CKDigital website design company, I would say that link, they should just say, click here to visit CKDigital web design company, right? So web design company or CKDigital web design company is what people will click on to take them to my site, right? That's a backlink. It's different from saying, to learn more about CKDigital, click here, where they now link, click here. That's useless to me, right?
Oh, I see.
That link, that thing that is pointing them to my website, is a signal to Google that when, like, I'm associating this keyword with this website that people are going to, right? So that's another way. And the more websites that link to your own website, the more trust Google has for your own website. It just means that, hey, this is a legit website if all these other websites are linking back to it. So that is a bit technical, but there's a way to get that done.
I understand it. And, thank you for sharing this, because I feel like we've been doing this, but we've been doing it wrong. Like we just say, okay, just link our websites. Whenever we have like a newspaper feature or a PR article that was released, we just say, okay, link to Halisi Consults. They don't really put all that keyword. They don't put the keyword in it, which they should. But
so it's helpful that even other companies are linking to you, but you want to make the most out of each link by making the anchor like the keyword that you are focused on. Then, of course, the final one is articles. But a lot of companies write articles blindly, right? But it's also nice to understand the objective for every article that you're writing. Some articles are just educational. They're not for SEO purposes. You just want to educate people, but you need to know that that's what you're doing, right? But if it's for SEO, the keywords, the articles you're writing, every article needs to have a keyword that it is for. That we know that we are writing this article to rank for this particular keyword, and that keyword needs to be a keyword that is relevant to your bottom line. So your customers are at different stages in the buying journey. Some are at the awareness stage, right? They're not even aware that they have the problem. There are
Yeah.
some things they're searching for online, right? Write articles for that. The ones that are now aware, right, that they are aware of the problem, they are now considering solutions. There are some things they are searching for at that point. Write articles for that. The ones that are now at the decision stage, they know they are aware of the problem, they know how they want to tackle it, they're trying to pick a provider, right? Write articles for those ones as well. In fact, you might not even need a lot of articles for that. That's where your
Yeah.
website, your case studies, your demo pages, that's where all of those.
Everything comes in. Yeah. I mean, this is a masterclass in digital marketing. Honestly, I've learned so much in like 10 minutes.
My
That he was speaking
pleasure.
about it, and the way you were just flowing was just amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was so insightful. My marketing lead is in the, she's watching this video. She writes everything down. But
Nice.
yeah, thank you for explaining it because a lot of people talk about SEO and they're always like, "Oh, it's so difficult. You won't understand. Give me $1,000. I'll do it for you." And I'm like, "Where's the money?" Oh my god! But thank you so much for that. So just
Yeah.
move a bit away from marketing and just talk about business generally. What would you say are some of the biggest challenges that you faced when scaling your business, and how did you manage to overcome those challenges and continue to drive growth within your business?
I've made some very stupid mistakes. I mean, looking back, they look like stupid mistakes, but at the time, I thought I knew what I was doing. Um, we had a customer one time, and in fact, it was an SEO customer. They paid us really good money, and we just thought, okay, you know what, we've arrived. Let us grow, right? So we just started hiring people. But interestingly, we were hiring people for our website design service. So it was SEO that brought this customer, but we were growing a different service, website design service. Now, there's a big difference between these two services. With SEO, we were earning recurring revenue, right? Because
Yeah.
if we get a customer, maybe it's a 6 month campaign, it's a 1 year campaign, so money was coming in every month. But website design is more of like a project by project type of service, right? We didn't have a lot of retainer clients there. So it was a rookie move to just say, hey, let's take money from SEO service that we've made to grow our website design team. So we now had, of course, when you hire people, you have to pay salary, right? So
Yes.
we now had a very high monthly bond, like money that we had to spend every month on salaries for a service that was not generating monthly recurring revenue. So it was a bad decision, right?
Mm.
And again, because we now hired new people, we had problem with our office. We now had to move to a much bigger place, right? So we had increased the size of the team. We had gotten a much bigger office on a service that was not giving us monthly recurring revenue, right?
Yeah.
We were going to be paying rent. I mean, all our expenses were going up, right? So in a couple of months, it just became really clear that this was a bad idea. It just became really clear, right? Because
Mm.
what now happened is we now lost that SEO client, right? They stopped doing business in Nigeria, and we lost that business. So our website design service could no longer handle the operations expenses for itself, right? So we had to lay off people. It was really tough. That was
Oh
the very first time.
gosh.
It was the very first time I would have to lay off a bunch of people that were really fantastic people, but there was nothing else I could do about it. So that was a mistake where I realized that okay, you need to when you scale what is working, right? Scale what is working. Don't scale when you are still experimenting. You
Hmm.
have and it's something that a lot of businesses get wrong, right? They have something that is really interesting, but it's not yet working, it's not yet dialed in, but they just feel like, yes, we've arrived, let us scale this. So you only scale what is working. Another thing is we like right now, just as what we've learned from that is we are now focused a lot more focused on revenue and profit margin, not just even revenue and profit margin. Right now, we our profit margin is really really good, right? And we decided to focus on one service. So today, we don't. There was a time we were doing like multiple services. You could come to CK Digital for a bunch of services. Right now, we have our website design service that we've known that okay, this is our calling. This is what we are very good at, right? We decided to focus on that particular service. Every other thing is secondary, right? We can do branding, we can do SEO for you, but what is our bread and butter? What we know like the back of our hands is website design, right? So that focus has really, really helped us today, right? So that's another thing that I recommend. So it was a challenge that we had because when you are doing many things, it's very difficult for you to scale it, right? Unless, because for each service you are offering, you need to have the resources, you need to have the processes, you need to have the people that will help you scale it, right? In our own case, we didn't have that and we were trying to do multiple things. So we were not so great at a lot of things. But the thing that we found that we are very good at, we just decided to focus on that. And that's what we are known for today. So those are some mistakes I've made in the past and what we've done to sort of correct that.
Amazing. That's a very brilliant lesson that I think a lot of people don't come back from. I feel like a lot of founders, I mean, stories come out every day, but a lot of founders, you know, get an influx or what's that thing called? Unbelievable liquidity. It just happens. And they just gonna pump the money into something else that doesn't actually, make sense. And hire people, get flashy off. It happens to everyone, but they don't come back from it. That's
Mm,
the lesson I think that is here, and I think it's amazing and it's testament to the kind of entrepreneur that you are, that you are able to come back from it and also be mature enough to admit your mistake. Because even me, I just no, we didn't make a mistake. It was a lesson. I'll be arguing to the very end. But yeah. That was very insightful to share and also very timely and mindful as well. Because a lot of people, especially in the tech space, see a lot of flashy headlines. Oh, these people did this, these people did that, and then are motivated by the flash and the pizzazz, not
mm,
motivated by the actual work that what it takes to build a company that can set up a legacy for yourself.
absolutely.
Like I
Yeah,
said before we started this webinar, like I already knew Charles Dairo. I've known Charles Dairo. I've known the name for years, and I know what you do. So I'm honestly, it's an honor to be able to have you here and share your insights. I think that's more important than being able to say, oh, we did this, we did XYZ, or okay, our office is on Bodilon in Ikoyi. We have a branch in San Francisco. It can happen. It will happen by God's grace, but doing the work is more important than the flash and pizzazz. So I think founders really need to hear this. Thank you so much for sharing that.
my pleasure.
So yes, that leads me to the next question I want to ask. How can founders scale their business effectively without sacrificing quality? I know we touched on that at the beginning of this webinar, where you said people are scaling their sales and marketing, but operations isn't matching up,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yes.
I think that's sort of the problem that Beezop solves as well.
Yeah.
So in your words, how can businesses scale effectively? How can they scale their operations effectively without compromising on quality?
Yeah, that's exactly why we're in business at Beezop. So there are three major things. One is so just documenting, training, and tracking. Documenting, training, and tracking, right? So for you to scale operations without sacrificing quality, then it means that you need to even know what quality means, right? Like this is the quality level that we are expecting. Then you need to be able to document how to achieve that level of quality. So that's one problem that a lot of people don't deal with first. So a lot of businesses start with a founder that is very technical. They are very good at this particular thing, right? Maybe they were at a job, they were doing that thing very well, they were getting a lot of praise and accolades for that thing, and they realize, hey, I can make more money if I go on my own to do this, right? And
Mhm.
so they go on that journey, they set up a business and all of that, and they are making money because they are already very good at this particular thing, and they are getting customers, they're making money, but it now starts to plateau because there's a limit. Everyone has a limit, right? So maybe when they had one customer, two customers, five customers, they were still able to deliver, but they can't do marketing to bring 20 new customers because they can't handle it, right? So they decide that they want to hire more people. But the problem is that they've not documented how to actually do this thing to the level that they are currently doing it. Like if you are delivering 100% level of quality based on the level of experience that you've had, can you document how to get 100 or maybe even 80% of the quality? Because experience matters, right? But can you document step by step? This is, if you do step one and you do step two and you do step three, you will arrive at this result. If you think about some of the biggest businesses in the world, right? I mean, McDonald's is not in Nigeria. Let's say, I don't know if Chicken Republic is a good example, but let's say McDonald's. Let's say McDonald's, for instance, right?
Yes.
Now, irrespective of the McDonald's restaurants that you go into, the Happy Meal, the Happy Meal tastes the same, right? Like everywhere you go, it tastes the same. And the people that are doing these things, that are flipping the burgers, are not professional burger makers. They are not. In fact, it's usually people that are maybe teenagers still in school, trying to just earn a few dollars here and there, that go to McDonald's for a job, and they still produce the same burgers at the same level of quality everywhere. How was that done? It's by documentation. There's a procedure. You do this first. You put this in the oven for maybe 3 minutes or 5 minutes. You flip it. You leave it on the pan for 3 minutes or for 5 seconds. Everything is documented step by step, because if you do the same thing the same way, you will achieve the same result. It's not rocket science, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of businesses don't document their processes. So it's just in the head of the founder. But then the problem is they now hire people, maybe they do a little bit of training. The person says, yes, I understand. And then they are frustrated that, hey, Nigerian staff they're not effective. But you did not train them. Or you
I agree.
but you didn't actually train them. You didn't document that, says, do this first, then do this next, then do this. Because if you document it and they follow that process, there's no reason why they will not achieve that result, unless you did not document it well, or unless they did not follow the process, right?
Yeah.
So documenting is number one. Training them on that documented processes or procedures is number two, which
Yeah.
means you need a way to ensure that these people are following that process consistently every single time, right? So training them. The third is tracking, right? Because it's not enough to just say, this is how to do it. If you really want to scale your operations, you need that peace of mind that if we do this, the customer is going to get this result, right?
Yes.
You need to track it, or else people will just tell you, yes, they are following the process, but they are not following the process. So you need to ensure that every time you are, let's say you say, hey, go and close this sale, because that's usually one problem. Only the founder is closing sales. You hire somebody else. But can you tell them that when you are on a demo call with a customer, this is the first question to ask. This is the next thing to say. If they ask this question, this is how to answer. Do you have anything like that?
Yeah.
Now, when you have that and you send someone on a demo call, track it. Did they follow that process, right? Did they say all the things that they are supposed to say? When you do that, you can then be assured of the level of quality. So this is a topic I'm really, really passionate about.
I can tell. I would actually want to ask as well, does Beezop help people document?
Does all of this, from
Oh, amazing,
documenting,
amazing, amazing, amazing.
tracking, Beezop does all of that.
We actually get, like, I'm sure my people can testify because they are watching this right now. We get clients that come to us for like structural issues all the time, and I'm just like a headache, because when someone's structure is a mess, I know what it took for me to put structure in my own business for us to be able to grow to this point. So I it's such a headache. Like having to being the one that documents everything one by one is a lot of work. Like, and if there's no, how do I say it, tool to help you do that, it's very difficult. We did it manually, but like is working. We'll probably add, the Beezop model to it now. But yeah, I mean, thank you for that. That's amazing because a lot of people just miss it that way. And then that's when you see a lot of companies start having, organ driven strategy that is just, Oga said everybody else goes in there. Those are the worst kind of companies I've ever dealt with in my experience as a consultant. Once
I
I
understand.
see from now on, once I see that okay, we're doing organ driven strategy in this company, or it's a CEO, they say it's a company, but it's really a fan club of people. She's the one doing all the work, but she doesn't realize it. Um, yeah, I just avoid because there's so many companies in Nigeria that are like that. That if the
Yeah.
CEO should leave the office for like a week, it's going to be chaos, and
Yep.
you get that from not having structure, from not being able to develop structure around delivering quality all the time. So yeah, thank
Yeah.
you so much for that.
My
Um,
pleasure.
so yeah, my final question, we're running up now. My final question is, what are the common pitfalls that businesses face when trying to grow, and how can they be avoided?
So, I mean, when trying to grow, common pitfalls would be one, and I feel like I've even touched on some of them with the examples. Like one is called like bad unit economics, right? If you are losing money on each customer, it doesn't matter how much you scale, you will keep losing money, right? It's like buying
The
a
way
product.
just stopped Uber and the whole of Silicon Valley now with that line.
I mean, it's the reality, and the painful thing is that Nigerian businesses are copying these models, right? You don't have the resources, but you think you want to copy that model, right? So, like, and it's if we look at it, it just doesn't make common sense. So, I buy a product for 100 naira, I'm selling it for 90 naira, right? Because I want more people to come and buy from me. Now, you will get a lot of people that will buy from you, but you are losing money on every sale, on every single sale. Some people will say, oh, it's a strategy to just gain market share and later we'll monetize them and all of that. But most times it doesn't work. Or most times these businesses die before they get to a point where they can actually monetize these customers. I mean, it's good for the customers, but at the end of the day, the business dies, right? So bad unit economics. Second one is trying to scale when you've not defined processes. Like it's just a recipe for disaster,
Hmm.
right? Where your processes are not defined, quality of work, there's nothing that says this is what quality looks like and this is how we achieve quality every time, whether it's from your sales to operations or whatever, and you're trying to scale, then everything just becomes chaotic, right? And of course, third one is like no clear KPIs, right? Like, okay, this is exactly what good results looks like from our sales, from our marketing, from our operations, just anyhow. Are we making money? Yes. But what are the KPIs for this business or for this function or for this role in the business? Nobody knows, right? So I mean, I would say at least right now, those are things that come to mind, like bad unit economics, no defined processes, and no clear KPIs.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, I 100% agree with you. People have some businesses, it's very clear that, they're just, for lack of a better term, they're putting money inside fire and they just keep putting more money into fire and just say, oh, we're growing. And they're tracking metrics that
Hmm.
they're not really vanity metrics. So, no, we have this number of users that are on the platform, but you're not even breaking even. If you are breaking even, okay, yeah, you can still increase your prices later. So yes, unit economics is such a big part. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. So just to round up, what advice would you give entrepreneurs that are new or just upcoming? What would you say is one piece of advice that has kept you going all through your business that you always share?
Hmm. Before I would say think big, start small, grow fast. Um, but now I'll still say think big, start small, but before you grow fast, ensure that it's already working, right? You want to scale what works,
Of
right?
course.
And another thing I would say is be careful who you compare yourself with, right? You will hear news of people raising money, you will hear, but you don't know what they did to raise that money, right? Good or bad, right? Maybe Some of them they've built networks or experience over the years that you don't even have, and you're comparing yourself with them, right? They've put in the work, right? Or it might be that they pumped their figures and they raised money, and you just you're not going to do that, but you're still comparing yourself with them because you don't know the story, right? So just run your own race. Do the things that make sense for your own business. You will make mistakes. You will learn from those mistakes, right? Just try not to make the same mistake twice, right? And just if you are adding value, if you are solving problems for people, it's just a matter of time, right? Today, website design is it's like 13 years ago when we started designing websites were a commodity. Today, websites are still a commodity, but we've been able to do a business that we're making very good money, right? Month in, month out, for us to remain in business for 13 years, right? On a service that is called a commodity, is because we've understood the business, we've stayed around, we've made the mistakes, we've learned the lessons, we've grown, right? And now there are deals that we win simply because we've been in business for 13 years. There's nothing you want to tell me in a sales conversation that I've not heard before, right? There are people that just like, hey, you guys have been in business, like, oh, the last person, this is real life. Someone that we're speaking with was like, the last person that did our website, after a year, the person had gone out of business. They left them stranded. They now met us that we've been in business for 13 years. Was like, now that's all I need to know, that you guys are around, right? So those are things that will never happen unless you are consistent. So yeah, that would be my advice.
Oh, thank you so much for that. The continuity, and it has happened. Well, it happens a lot of times where we bid for things, and they tell us, "Oh, our business is too young." So yeah, that's a very strong point. Especially when you're trying to work with like larger corporations, they want to see the longevity, and obviously so that you will be around for a very long time, as long as they would have. And yeah, by God's grace, that will be the reality.
Absolutely.
No worries. Thank you so much, Charles, for this. I really, really appreciate your time. This was fun. It was very enlightening. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us.
Thank you, Talani.
All right. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye. Alrighty, guys. That was Charles Dairo of Beezop and CKDigital. He came on here, shared knowledge with us. I wasn't even expecting him to break down what SEO, digital marketing strategy is, and he broke it down so simply that it just makes sense that this is how you should build your websites and go about your SEO strategy. Because SEO, for example, is a very long-term, very long game sort of strategy for you to keep your business, constantly getting leads and clients online. So yeah, thank you guys so much for being here to the very end. As you know, my name is Talani Thomas Allison. I'm the founder, CEO, and principal consultant at Halisi Consults. We're a business development consulting company. We help businesses launch, grow, and thrive through our business planning services, our investor readiness services, and our marketing services. Just click the link in the description below just to book a one-on-one strategy consultation with us for us to explore any problems that you may be having in your business, and we can look for how we can proffer solutions to those problems. So yeah, thank you so much for your time, and yeah, do have a lovely weekend ahead. Bye.